If I told you that you could have the same kinds of experiences people have through QHHT without ever sitting in front of a practitioner, what would that mean for the way you see these therapies? The greatest misconception about QHHT and similar therapies is that the practitioner is creating the experience. They aren't. The experience always comes from you. During these sessions, people experience past lives, future timelines, parallel realities, communication with their higher mind, and answers to questions that have eluded them for years. The practitioner simply provides a structure that allows you to access something you already possess. In this video, we're going to look at what QHHT actually is, how it developed, and what happens during these sessions. We'll explore why some people have profound experiences, while others experience nothing at all. Why some people see a similar future, while others see something completely different, and what that reveals about how your beliefs, perceptions, and state of being right now determine the future timeline you experience. Then, I'll show you how to become your own practitioner so you can access these experiences whenever you choose, without relying on anyone else to guide you there. QHHT, or Quantum Healing Hypnosis Technique, was developed by Dolores Cannon after decades of work as a hypnotherapist. Over thousands of sessions, she found that many people naturally began describing experiences that extended far beyond conventional hypnosis. Some found themselves reliving experiences that felt completely separate from their current lives. Others encountered different versions of reality, connected with other forms of intelligence, or accessed information that changed the way they understood their reality. People often came away with answers to deeply personal questions, new perspectives on their lives, and in some cases, profound physical and emotional healing. As these experiences became increasingly consistent, Dolores developed a structured approach to the therapy that eventually became known as QHHT. Today, it's become one of the most widely recognized forms of spiritual regression hypnosis for spiritual exploration in the world. And so, what typically happens in a QHHT session? It begins with a long conversation where the practitioner learns about your life, your health, your experiences, and the questions you'd like answered. Once you're deeply relaxed through hypnosis, you're guided to whatever experience is most appropriate for you at that time. For some, it's simply a relaxed, meditative state that doesn't feel like much happened at all. Others experience memories, symbols, emotions, impressions, or simply know things they weren't aware of before. For some, it feels like stepping into another lifetime. And for others, it's a future timeline, a parallel reality, another civilization, or an experience that simply doesn't neatly fit into any category at all. No two sessions are exactly alike. Some are deeply immersive, while others are quiet and subtle. During the experience, the practitioner asks questions, encouraging you to describe what you're seeing, feeling, and experiencing, while avoiding leading you toward any particular direction or conclusion. Toward the end of the session, the focus shifts to direct communication with what Dolores Cannon called the higher self. This is where people ask the questions they prepared before the session about their health, relationships, their purpose, recurring patterns, or anything else they hope to better understand. The goal isn't simply to have an interesting experience, it's to gain insight, receive guidance, and often to leave with a completely different understanding of yourself, your life, and the experiences that brought you to this moment. But the real question isn't what happens during these sessions. It's why they happen in the first place. Because the answer completely changes the way we understand therapies like QHHT. What is it that's actually creating the experience? This is where the idea of a permission slip becomes so important. A permission slip is anything you choose to believe will help you access a different state of consciousness. It doesn't create the experience. It simply gives you permission to create the experience yourself, with or without the help of someone else. That's why the same practitioner can guide two different people through the exact same process and produce two completely different outcomes. One person has a profound session, while the other feels like nothing happened at all. This isn't because one person was more spiritual than the other, or because the practitioner suddenly became more or less skilled. It's because every experience is filtered through your own beliefs, your expectations, perceptions, and state of being. Ultimately, you are the one who determines what happens and to what degree another person can facilitate that process. The same principle applies to energy healing modalities such as Reiki and quantum healing. No healer actually heals you, because that's not how healing works. The practitioner simply holds a frequency that invites you to resonate with the healed state. Whether you resonate with the frequency being offered is ultimately your choice. Your beliefs, expectations, openness, and your own state of being all play a role, just as the practitioner's own state influences the quality of the session. That's why one person can experience a profound healing while someone else feels nothing at all. And sometimes the purpose of an illness hasn't yet been fulfilled. It still has something to teach you, which means your higher mind isn't ready to release it until that lesson has been learned and integrated by you. Permission slips are very individual. For me personally, QHHT type therapies aren't my permission slip. That doesn't make them right or wrong. They simply aren't the way I naturally access these states. The idea of another person guiding me through my own consciousness feels a little like handing my authority to someone else, and that doesn't resonate with what works best for me. I personally enjoy exploring the path of direct personal experience. But for someone else, QHHT may be exactly the permission slip they need, and therefore be incredibly effective. That's just as valid. Because sometimes it can be helpful to be guided by another person. There's no right or wrong when it comes to permission slips. There's only resonance. Whatever you resonate with is what will be best for you in that moment. And as you evolve, your permission slips will evolve with you. But the important thing isn't which doorway you choose. It's recognizing that the source of the experience is you. And this also answers one of the biggest questions people have about QHHT. If these experiences are showing people the future, why do they often describe completely different futures? Some see a world transformed by direct contact with advanced civilizations. Others describe a beautiful utopia. Some describe cataclysmic events or entirely different versions of Earth. How can they all be real? The answer is that they aren't all seeing the same future. They're experiencing the future that resonates with their own state of being. Your beliefs, your perceptions, your expectations, the choices you make in life, and the frequency you embody right now all determine the timeline you're most closely aligned with. There isn't one fixed destination. There are an infinite number. The future experienced in these sessions reflect the version of reality that matches who you are becoming. This is why no two people experience reality the same way. Every one of us is moving through our own trajectory, continually shifting from one timeline to another as we change. The future is never fixed. It's dynamic. It's not a place waiting for you to arrive. It's something you're continuously creating through the person you choose to be in this moment. I go into much more detail on the subject of parallel realities and timelines in another video. Link is in the description. Once you understand that you are the source of your connection to these states, you realize they've always been available to you, and that means you can access them with or without an intermediary, a practitioner. And so, let's talk about how to do just that. Therapies like QHHT are not mystical or accessible only through someone else. They work on the principle of harmonic resonance. They guide people into primarily theta and gamma brainwave states, where the subconscious mind is more accessible. This state allows for deep relaxation, heightened suggestibility, and access to non-linear experiences. Because of this, it becomes much easier to access the greater field of consciousness that holds all knowledge, including past lives, alternate realities, and the blueprint for healing disease and imbalanced states of being. Because consciousness becomes multidimensional. In this state, we also have access to states of awareness where we can receive guidance from the higher self and other intelligences. The following exercise is inspired by the architect, and it's one I particularly enjoy. First, prepare your space. Find a quiet, comfortable place where you won't be disturbed for at least 30 minutes to an hour. Feel free to record the session for anything you'd like to vocalize so that you can reflect on it afterward. Dim the lights, and if you like, light a candle or burn incense to signal the beginning of the experience. Now, set your intention. What is it you'd like to explore during this session? Is it another timeline? A future timeline? Lifetime? A recurring pattern in your life? A health condition? Your purpose? A relationship? Or simply a question you haven't yet been able to answer? Your intention becomes the doorway that guides the experience. Write it down and speak it clearly, and feel the words resonate through your body. Sit comfortably or lie down and spend 5 to 10 minutes slowing and deepening your breath. Feel your stomach, lower lungs, upper lungs, and clavicle gently expanding and contracting. Then on each inhale, from the infinite field, visualize or feel light entering your entire body. Every atom and molecule, cell and tissue, organ and system, infusing you with light. On each exhale, transmute all tension and distractions into that light. Continue inhaling and exhaling, infusing and transmuting for as long as you need. It may be 5 minutes or much longer. Then let your breath fall into a slow and steady rhythm. Now, imagine an octahedron shown on the screen. It looks like two pyramids joined together at their base. Allow it to appear in whatever color is most appropriate for your current state of resonance. The octahedron holds a unique and powerful significance in sacred geometry and spiritual practices. Its unique shape is associated with the air element and higher states of consciousness. It provides a focal point that bridges to higher dimensional states. It also represents duality and the harmonizing of opposites. Duality is a foundational structure of the physical world. Watch as the octahedron begins rotating slowly in a clockwise direction and begin synchronizing your breathing with its movement, and spend a few minutes immersing yourself within its field, feeling its geometry. It's a very powerful form and it will impact your consciousness. Now, bring your intention to mind and say silently or out loud, I now know the insights and guidance I need in this moment, and I enter a state of grateful receivership. Continue focusing on the octahedron as it transforms into a radiant portal or gateway, illuminated with a soft, powerful light that fills your entire body with warmth. And say to yourself, I step through this gateway into greater awareness, then move through into the light. Allow yourself to be open to whatever experience begins to unfold. Allow whatever arises without trying to control or analyze it. Simply observe it. The more you engage intellectually, the more easily you step out of the experience. Observe from a state of complete neutrality. Pay attention to any images, symbols, words, emotions, or feelings. If you're recording the session, describe them out loud so you can reflect on them later. If something doesn't make sense, simply ask for greater clarity and understanding. One experience may naturally lead into another. A symbol may become a scene may become a conversation, another place, or something entirely unexpected. Some experiences won't make logical sense because your mind has no reference point to interpret them within this reality. But they may carry a deep sense of knowing that goes beyond ordinary understanding. Take your time, as long as you need. Be open to explore whatever emerges. And when you're ready, slowly bring your awareness back to your physical body, moving your fingers and toes. Take a deep breath in, followed by a long, forceful exhale. Immerse yourself with gratitude for the experience and for whatever guidance you've received, knowing that this guidance is always available to you because you're not alone. You've never been alone. There is an entire spirit team supporting you every step you take in this lifetime, whether you're consciously aware of it or not. Now, the experience often continues long after the session ends. As the hours and days go by, flashes of insight and understanding will suddenly make themselves known. Sometimes the informational downloads don't even begin until days after the session's complete. The timing is based on your readiness to receive. This exercise is an invitation to recognize something that has always been true. The source of every meaningful experience has always been you. Every practitioner, healer, and technique can serve as a valuable permission slip, but they were never the source of your connection. Once you recognize that the power was never in an external permission slip, you'll no longer need to depend on one. Today, you've learned how to become your own permission slip for QHHT. You've learned that these states of awareness are available to you whenever you choose to access them and in whatever way you prefer. This is what self-empowerment and self-sovereignty are all about. So use this exercise, refine it, make it your own. As your state of being evolves, your experiences will evolve with it. And there will come a time when you no longer need a formalized session or even a meditation, because all you'll need to do is simply ask the question and say, I now know the answer, and you will. All right, with that, we'll bring this to a close. Thank you so much for joining me on this exploration. Questions or comments are always welcome. I read them all. And I've also left a question in the pinned comment for any insights that you'd like to offer. If this sharing resonates with you and you'd like to hear more, please hit the like button, which helps me know if you're inspired by my teachings. For more insights, tap the notification bell to be notified when new videos are released. And thank you so much for listening and for being part of this beautiful community where we remember that the search for answers ends when you know they've been within you all along. Superhuman made simple with the architect.